Yo, mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good? Just want to talk a little boxing. Don't want to go too crazy. So yeah, I'm getting tired of hearing this bullshit that Terence Crawford is a weight bully. I'm not feeling that right there because it's simply not true. And the thing is, we real boxing fans over here, right? And it's like we can't have people that are not in the boxing space that, in my opinion, are not real boxing fans, but they seem to talk about boxing a lot. We can't have people like that, mad because a fighter they like lost to a guy. So because of that, they're motivated to like shit on the guy's career, and then the shit they're saying is just completely ridiculous. We can't have stuff like that. And we're real boxing fans and we just kind of like stand back and don't push back on that. We can't do stuff like that. That makes us look like we're not authentic. We got to put some realism and authenticity back into boxing. Too many fake hating ass fans have kind of like hijacked this shit. We got to regain control. That's what we got to do. That ain't cool that people are doing that. So people saying this bullshit. But one thing that I keep hearing that's frustrating, and I decided I never really talked about this before until now. So I'm gonna talk about it right now. Keep hearing this stupid shit that Terence Crawford is a weight bully. That's cap. And to be honest with you guys, you do some research, you'll find this to be true. As you get older, your body get bigger, right? And you shrink down to a weight size. I said a weight size. You shrink down to a weight. You low key kind of disadvantage yourself because you're shrinking down to a weight that you probably don't need to be doing, but you're doing. And it's low key not really healthy to do that. You see what I'm saying? So you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage to do that. And also, in regard to Terence Crawford, the thing that's so frustrating about that is Terence Crawford never beat nobody based on the fact that he was a bigger guy or he put on extra weight. He never won a fight because of that. Terence Crawford won all his fights because he was just skillful and outskilled fighters. That's how he won. That's how from Bradis Prescott all the way to Canelo Alvarez, he won his fights by just being a very skillful guy, not because he's bigger than what he should be, pause, or he's a weight bully, whatever the fuck that means. Like he never won a fight because of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about these people that are criticizing Crawford saying he's a weight bully. That's what's frustrating. They're saying he's a weight bully, but they're not talking about how he's winning his fights. They're saying it like he's winning because he's bigger than everybody. That's not true. He's beating these guys because he's more skillful than these guys. That's why he's winning these fights. But they're trying to shit on Crawford and say homie is a weight bully and he's winning fights because he's weight bullying people. And that's cap. You feel what I'm saying? That's cap. That's not true at all. So people get on here and they saying this bullshit and it can't be respected. The shit can't be respected. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we know what's up with y'all. Y'all just mad because y'all guy lost, so y'all want to shit on this guy's career. Hey yo, what up? What up, Rose Maverick? Salute, salute. Because I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but at the same time, I don't like how people, because I feel like Crawford is so great, I don't need to defend him. That's how great that dude is. You know what I mean? My honest opinion. You feel what I'm saying? you know, and it's hard to respect that because it's like he wins. Terence Crawford has won all his fights because he was just a better fighter, more skilled. That's why he won. And people are willing to like shit on his career and disrespect him all because he beat their guy and shit. You know what I'm saying? And like you said in the chat, that shit was months ago. You would think niggas would be over that by now. It ain't no big deal. These motherfuckers holding on to that shit. That shit ain't even that serious. You know? It just shows you that people just be on bullshit. And these are the people that claim they boxing fans. And it's like, are you really a fan or are you just a hater? You know? Like that's a good question. Like, are you really a fan or are you simply just a hater? Sound like hater shit to me. I don't know if that's real fan shit. Me personally. You know? Because they're literally like these people, they're literally willing to go out their way, shit on this man's career, shit on this man's accomplishments, disrespect this man, act like this nigga was a bum fighter when this nigga is one of the best to ever do it. And they're willing to go that far and say these things over and over and over and over again because they're mad because he beat their guy. Like, that shit is not cool, bro. Like, and I just feel like real boxing fans, people that really fuck with the sport, I feel we should push back on that. That's just how I feel. Yeah, we could ignore it because we know it's cap and we know what they're saying is bullshit. Yeah, that's true. We know that. So we could ignore it. But I also don't see nothing wrong with us pushing back on that. I really don't. It's not fair criticism. You dig? He doesn't have a weak resume. That's not true. It's just simply not true. You know? And it's like people think that people can't read between the lines. We know why you motherfuckers are saying this shit because you're bothered by the fact that he beat Canelo. And I don't even think Canelo is mad about losing to Crawford anymore. We saw him at the Ring Magazine event a few weeks ago, dapping it up with Crawford, smiling in pictures with him and all that. So I don't even think Canelo's tripping off that no more. So why the fuck are you so-called fans tripping? He ain't even tripping. You know? He's asking a retired man to rematch him. You know? There were certain fights that Canelo did that people wanted to rematch, and Canelo didn't do. Nobody gave a fuck about that. And then if you really wanted a rematch, you did face of boxing, should have put a rematch clause in that shit. Then he would have had no choice but to rematch you. He didn't do that. Because I believe the reason why Canelo didn't get a rematch clause put in there is because I believe he was very confident he was going to beat Crawford. I honestly believe that. I don't know for sure, but I really believe Canelo was very confident he was going to beat Canelo. Canelo was very confident he was going to beat Crawford. So he probably felt like I don't need no rematch clause. You know what I mean? I really believe that. You know? So that's just what it is, bro. Because I remember all those years ago, they were saying he should rematch Lara because that fight had a controversial ending. Many people felt that he lost that fight. A lot of people felt that he won. But I remember at that time, people were saying they want to see a rematch. And Canelo was well aware of that, and he didn't do a rematch. So it's like, but the same people that are Canelo fans, they would rather not talk about that, but then shit on Crawford and say Crawford's scared to do a rematch. Why would he be scared to do a rematch? He beat the guy. Can't be scared of a nigga that you beat. You know, if that sounds normal to you, then you're just a hater, bro. So, like I said, I don't see nothing wrong with real boxing fans pushing back on all this fake shit. You know, I don't see nothing wrong with that. And I'm not even, and to be honest, I respect you guys in the chat. I definitely respect y'all. But I'm not even really saying no names. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all get who I'm talking about mostly, but this goes out for anybody that's saying that anti-Crawford shit. You think you're giving fair criticism, but really you're just hating. Like, bro, we're not fucking stupid. We know the difference between a fair criticism and hating, bro. You guys are just hating, bro. Your motivation and agenda is to tear down Crawford because you're mad that he beat Canelo. Nobody's fucking stupid. We can all see that shit. Nobody's stupid, bro. We all see this shit. It don't take shit but a person that's logically thinking, that's not a dick eater, to know this. It's all motivated by bitterness because Canelo lost. And like I said, I don't even think Canelo is sweating the loss like that. The man was just dapping it up and smiling in pictures with Crawford at the Ring Magazine event. So Canelo's probably like, I really don't even give a fuck. I mean, it is what it is. He gave the man full credit after the fight. And he was like, I really don't even give a fuck. I mean, it is what it is. He gave the man full credit after the fight. So why are you bitch-ass Canelo fans making excuses for him? Do I have to send y'all a link where Canelo was giving Crawford credit and full credit for beating him? Or y'all just ain't fucking with that? You know, it's crazy, bro. So now y'all want to say this man is a weight bully. And then also, when people say things, what people kind of like forget is nowadays information is everywhere, and you could actually fact check what somebody's saying instead of letting somebody tell you something and going off of it. So when they say that Bomac and Crawford admitted they were weight bullies, that's not true. The actual quote that was said was, if they would have known that going up to 168 was going to feel this good as far as strength, they would have moved up a long time ago. That's not weight bullying. Nobody over in the Crawford camp ever said that, hey, we should have, we stayed at these smaller weight classes. We were taking advantage of smaller weights. Nobody never said no shit like that. No, Bomac never said that. Crawford never said that. The actual quote was, if they would have known that moving up to 168 would have felt so good as far as like being strength or having strength, they would have moved up a long time ago. That's not no weight bully shit. But you hating motherfuckers, y'all twisted it like he said, oh, we're taking advantage of smaller weight classes. Now, Devin Haney said he did that. He said that he strained to get to 135 because he wanted to get that Tank and Lomachenko fight. So he sacrificed to stay at that weight class. That's what Devin Haney said. Because for those that don't know, when Devin Haney was getting ready to fight George Kambosos for the second time, he did an interview where he said that he wants to fight either Tank Davis or Vasily Lomachenko after he fights Kambosos. And then he didn't get the Tank fight, as we know, but he got the Loma fight. And after that fight, what did he do? He moved up. You dig? But you guys would take that and twist it because you don't like Devin Haney instead of actually going off what he actually said. Key word, actually. But like I said, you guys is haters. You know what I mean? And then like homie said in the chat, Canelo tested positive. Crawford never tested positive. But somehow Crawford's getting called the drug cheat. You know? So that's more hater shit. All these years these guys been boxing, Crawford has never popped dirty not one time. Canelo has. But you Canelo guys will ignore that and say Crawford's a drug cheat. There's Latino fighters that work with Victor Conte, but you only want to say the black fighters are drug cheats that worked with Victor Conte. You dig? And it's like y'all want people to respect y'all and y'all talk like that. I just ain't feeling that, bro. Exactly. That's his fight, and he didn't do it. The Benavidez. Facts. Exactly. Canelo's not even salty that he lost to Crawford. It is what it is. You know what I mean? He got paid all that money. He ain't tripping. I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet that Canelo probably ain't even mad like that. He's probably like, hey, it is what it is. Like, yeah, he would like to do a rematch. That I understand that, but I'm willing to bet Canelo's probably sitting back, not even giving a fuck. He's probably like, hey, fuck it. That man got a beautiful family. He got a legendary career. He's coming back to fight in September, so it ain't like his career's over with. Canelo good. I bet you he chilling, bro. He chilling, bro. He ain't having nightmares over that shit. But the Canelo fans, man, they got that, a lot of crazy shit. Yeah, facts. Mikey Garcia was working with Snack, Victor Conte. I never heard a Latino say he was a drug cheat. You know what I mean? Exactly. Mario Barrios, hella Latino fighters work with Victor Conte. Never heard a Latino call out a Latino fighter for working with Victor Conte, but they will call out a black fighter for doing it. Does that sound like racism to y'all, or is that just somebody just having an opinion? So, man, these people, man, they fake with it, But nah, man, all that Terence Crawford, this, bro, like, stop it, bro. I could respect it if a Canelo fan came out and said, hey, man, I really don't got, if they said these actual words, hey, man, I don't really got a problem with Crawford. I just don't like that he beat my guy, bro. So fuck that dude. I could respect that. If a Canelo fan said that, I could respect that because it's honesty. You know how you cannot agree with something, but you can respect it because it's honest? I respect it. That was honest right there. That's some weirdo shit, but the fact that you were honest, I can respect that. For real. I can respect that. It's kind of like a girl doing sex work. You know how you cannot agree with a woman degrading herself like that, but she'll do it for easy money? I don't really agree. I don't agree with that, but I can respect your honesty. You saw you can make some easy money doing that shit, so you said fuck it, even though that's going to make you look stupid in the long run as a woman. But I can respect the honesty though. Fuck it. That's how I look at these Canelo fans. If a Canelo fan were to actually say, hey man, I don't really feel no way towards Crawford. He is a great fighter. Just don't like that he beat my guy, bro. I just don't like that shit. I can respect the Canelo fan if they were to say that. Because that's all this is. Y'all don't really feel no negative way about Crawford. You just mad that he beat Canelo. And then you gotta, like I told y'all before, you Canelo fans, y'all are just fans. Y'all don't know these fighters personally. The only thing y'all should really care about is what these fighters do in the ring. You shouldn't give a fuck about no outside the ring shit. You are a fan. You dig? You should be focused on, is the fighter good? Is he a great fighter? Does he have great skill set? What is footwork looking like? Does he got a great jab? Let's see if he got good defense. Let's see if he know how to hit and not get hit. Let's see if he can knock niggas out. That's all you should care about if you're a fan. Y'all sitting here worried about shit that ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit. Like on some fake boxing fan shit. You know, it's just hard to respect that. Terence Crawford ain't no fucking weight bully. For real. That man never won a fight in his whole career based on his weight. He wins fights based on his skills. So that alone makes it impossible to be a weight bully. You guys are just fucking haters that want to say that bullshit because Cinnamon lost. And Cinnamon don't give a fuck about none of y'all. And y'all sitting up here riding for this man. And I'm not, and like I said, I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but I'm not the biggest Terence Crawford fan. But I just feel like real boxing fans should push back on bullshit. There's a lot of fake boxing fans out here. And I don't see no wrong with pushing back on that shit. All this hater shit and you're mad about this, you're mad about that. Like, I ain't respecting that shit. That man ain't no weight bully, bro. He just beat your favorite boxer. Get over it. It's just like a bitch that rejected you. Get the fuck over it. There's literally a bitch down the street that look just as good as this bitch and got a fat ass just like that bitch. Get over that shit. That's how you Canelo fans need to do. Because y'all tripping with this shit. Every time I go on the internet and entertain boxing conversations, boxing panel, it's the same old hating shit. Same old hater shit. So yeah, man. Keep it 100, man. All these Latino fighters worked with Victor Conti. You don't got nothing to say about that, though. A black fighter worked with Victor Conti. You running your mouth all day saying black fighters are drug cheats. Ain't that a bitch? No respect at all. Then got the nerve to say somebody's racist, and this is how you behave. You motherfucker. I'm mad as hell. Yeah, man. You said black fighters get hated on too much. You want to know something funny about that? Regardless of your race, if you were to say, you know what, let me embrace black fighters. Black fighters are good, let me embrace them. If you were to do that, you would enjoy boxing more. If you're a Latino and you can't stand black fighters, if you were to get out of that mindset and say, hey, you know what, let me embrace these black fighters. These guys are pretty good. If you were to do that, you would enjoy boxing much more. You would enjoy it more. You would enjoy that shit more, like straight up.
You just wouldn't. You would be more authentic with it. You said Ryan versus Barrios. Who you think gonna win? To be honest with you, I low key want Barrios to win. You know, a lot of people think Ryan's gonna win, but this fight could go either way because Ryan got the equalizer. He got knockout power, and I can see him catching Barrios because Barrios is not the best defensive fighter, but Barrios little bit more versatile boxer, so he might be able to do something. It would be good if Barrios won, though, to be honest with y'all, but we're going to see. So I'm going to go with Barrios. Yeah, so I would say, but yeah, it would be cool to see Barrios win. But like I said, Ryan got the equalizer. He got the one hitter quitter. You know, we'll see what happens. But I'm a root for Barrios in this fight. I'm gonna go ahead and root for Barrios. I ain't putting no money on this fight. I should throw something on the Hitchinson and I keep calling him Hitchinson. It's Hitchens. I should put some money on the Hitchens and Duarte fight because I think that's going to be fight of the night because that's a good matchup. When I look at this fight, this is Hitchens' version of William Zepeda. You know that fight Shakur had last year with Zepeda. This is Richardson's version of that fight, where you fight a pressure fighter that's just going to come and throw punches or whatever. I think Zepeda is a little bit better than Duarte, but nonetheless, they got the same style, that brawler style. So, and now he got to deal with it. Let's see how he deals. I think Hitchinson is going to win, but I think this is going to be a very good fight. But this is going to be a good test for him. That's the fight that I really want to see. But this whole fight card is good, though. You know. But yeah, that's the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. The Richardson, Hitchens, and Oscar Duarte fight. So yeah, so that's the fight that I'm going to be looking for. I might have to throw some money down real quick. Still got time to do it, but yeah, that's the fight I'm checking for. So, next week they got that super Mexican fight, Navarrete and Sugar Nunez. That should be a good fight as well. So back to back is going to be some fights. I'll be checking for that. The homegirl Clarissa Shields is fighting this weekend too, but I told y'all already I'm not really into women's boxing, so I'll be skipping that. But yeah, we got some action this weekend, so we gonna dig that. So yeah, we gonna dig that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. At the moment, I don't really got nothing else to say about that topic. It's all hater shit. Everything is good. Terence Crawford's the best. Better than Canelo. He's retired, but for the moment, he's the face of boxing. You know what I'm saying? 3-time undisputed. You know what I mean? It's funny because I was just watching some highlights of the fight earlier too, and it's like the way he was hitting Canelo with them sneaky shots. Canelo can never fight like that. That shit was dope. So yeah, man, shout out Crawford, man. The new GOAT. Fuck the haters. And we're going to keep rocking like that. I'm gone.